Good morning. My name is Duke, and we are joined with my buddy Dutch on the Duke and Dutch Show. We have an
Hey,
interesting show for you today. How are you doing today, Dutch, from Florida?
I am in Florida right now. It is really hot, so if you see me rubbing this on my face, it's because it's really humid down here, and I'm not used to it. I'm from Pennsylvania,
I
but no,
believe
it's
it.
all right. It's hot. I would say it's definitely very humid. It's not what some people are used to. It's probably not as hot as California, specifically LA is right now. And we have a lot of interesting
Yeah.
topics which Duke is going to roll through. So
Yep.
I'll give it back to you, Duke.
We are going to be going, of course, covering the LA quote unquote protest, Greta Thunberg's quote unquote kidnapping,
My favorite activist.
Finny Da Legend, what sadly happened to him, and end with hopefully what is considered a positive note, $1,000 federal contribution made by Donald Trump to certain members of the American civilization.
People born within a second term, they get some type of grant or something. It's very interesting.
We'll go through that later on, yeah, and figure out exactly the details and how we feel about that. But let's start out today with the American flag. I think it is a great point to start. I am a proud American. I will always be a proud American. Whether I fully agree with what our president, not just Donald Trump, whoever the president is, do I agree with? Not always, but I am still always going to be a proud American citizen, and that will
I don't
not change.
I don't think anybody ever fully agrees. You can't agree with somebody 100%. They're
Yeah,
never going to do
nobody
100%.
completely has the exact same ideals as you. I don't expect them to. Uh,
Our man 547, he's been pretty good so far. He's kept a lot of his campaign promises. I think he's doing good for the American people.
and I want to
I
be
hope
clear
him.
with my statement. I just, as long as they do what's in the best interest for America, specifically America, and not anybody who just comes to the country. I'm specifically talking about the American soil and the American citizens that call this
Yeah,
place home.
not foreign nations either.
Correct. I want my president to take care of this country, the country that he was elected, he or she was elected to run. So uh, now let's go on to the topics.
Yep.
Today, I sadly have to report that there has been a lot of civil unrest throughout quite a bit of the country, specifically in LA. The riots have been going on since, I believe, June 9th, if I'm not mistaken, June 8th.
I believe since Saturday night. And what Duke's
Yes,
specifically referring to is that LA citizens, or you would hope they're citizens, are rioting in the street because ICE is going into neighborhoods.
correct.
And, pretty much fulfilling the campaign promise that Donald Trump had, that we got to clear out all the
Mm-hmm.
illegal immigrants.
This,
And, a lot of these leftist liberal cities are not too happy about it.
yeah, and it all has to do with the unrest of, like you said, the ICE raids that have been conducted throughout America. This is nothing new, though. Donald Trump told
He
us
ran,
that he was going to do this before he was elected. He's
he ran
delivering
on
on
it.
his promise, just like many other presidents have in their previous terms. So let's get back to this. We have a report from Sam Tripoli, predicting that the LA riots would happen 2 years ago. In fact,
This,
during 2023. His video, as we will see in the video, is from 2023, talking about the potential riots that may occur. Let's take a look to see what he says.
We're in the Bolshevik War right now, bro. And right now, what's coming up is all the pride stuff is going to be okay. So I had this woman come on my podcast. Her name's Mel K. She goes, I've been talking to some people in the intelligence, and they go, this gay pride stuff is going away. And the next thing you're going to see are immigration riots. This is going to be right around the next election. So, hand to God, we do this.
I sound choppy. I might not be able to hear everything, but
Gotcha.
yeah,
If
we're still
anything, I'll give you any
participating.
context you may need. Don't worry. Yeah, we're doing a little different, kind of a test segment today because of him being in Florida. But hope you guys enjoy it regardless. I'm gonna replay it from the beginning for you.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mention
We're
that
in the
earlier.
Bolshevik war right now, bro. And right now what's coming up is all the pride stuff is going to be okay. So I had this woman come on my podcast. Her name's Mel K. She goes, I've been talking to some people in the intelligence, and they go, this gay pride stuff is going away. And the next thing you're going to see
I
are
think he's right about
immigration
that. I think it
riots.
has-
This is going to be right
Absolutely
around
right.
the next election. So, hand to God, we do this episode. Next day, Starbucks is like, we're banning all the pride stuff. And now you start seeing these they're putting little breadcrumbs out, man. Little breadcrumbs. Oh, I saw this one thing in Chicago. Oh, yeah, illegal immigrants are upset about where they're staying. And these illegal immigrants who speak no English are holding up.
Yeah, just to pause it real quick. He was absolutely correct on the Pride movement kind of going away.
Well,
A lot of
we
companies have backtracked on their
we
stance.
discussed it last week, and I don't
Yes.
think anyone has a problem. I don't really think majority of Americans have a problem with people being gay or lesbian,
no.
bisexual. I think it's the fact that it's forced down our throats, and you don't know these companies aren't they're disingenuous. It's virtue
Yeah.
signal point. That's all they want is little points for it.
And a lot of the
And
problems that people were having was that a lot of their efforts were focused on children, our younger children. And
Well,
that's where the line is absolutely, you're over the
I think
line.
there should be pride stuff marketed to kids who are like 8 years old. That's grooming.
Like
in
we
my
talked
book.
about in Target with their tucking bathing suits and all.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
nonsense.
that's absolutely insane.
Yeah. Anyway, back to this video. You'll hear the other part.
Up perfectly written English signs saying we're tired of how we're being treated. And now you're starting to see this over and over again. Eric, so everyone's always like when
So he's referencing illegal immigrant, or I don't want to say illegal immigrants, but immigrants protesting. Can't even speak a word of English, but yet they're holding a sign that is written in perfect English.
I live pretty close to Allentown, and there are blocks like that where people have probably been here 30 years. Yeah, they don't speak English. They don't leave
Which that's
they're
another
little-
topic. There's different opinions on that. I understand. You have a language. I mean, if you're gonna live in another, I know if I lived in Germany, I'd speak German. Sorry, if I lived in Japan, I'd speak their native language. But that's just me.
But I think the main point of that is when people came here, obviously, you come from Germany, you come from Italy, but you would try to assimilate and you would learn the
Absolutely.
language. That's part of assimilation. 100 years ago, this was a completely normal practice.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say, hey, there are going to be people who are going to be like, hey, I don't want to lose exactly what made me an Italian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe you still want to speak that, but, you want to also speak English. It's
There's
just
nothing wrong with
necessary.
knowing multiple languages. Yeah. If anything, it actually benefits you in life knowing multiple languages.
But I think really more he's speaking to the refusal to learn something. I do think that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
If you want to be a part of the society, you kind of need to learn the language. If I moved to, I don't
Anywhere.
know, Brazil, or something, I'd have to learn their language. It's just,
Absolutely. I would expect nothing less. But anyway, let's get back to the video.
when all these Republican governors are like sending these immigrants all over the country,
New
everyone's
York.
like, yeah, you're showing those Democrats. Bro, they're moving assets. I know it sounds crazy, but that is 100
What do you
percent.
mean they're moving assets? What do you mean?
Dude, these guys coming into the country, bro, have you seen them? A lot of them are Chinese, and a lot of them are military
Russian,
age
too.
people. And I'm telling you, they're moving, and this is what's going to be right around 2024 election. Immigration riots, people going nuts, and as listen to this, and you'll start seeing all the little breadcrumbs. I'm
what I'm
telling
doing.
you, that's
Oh,
what
you're-
they want you to
you're buying-
think.
You're buying it.
Oh, I thought
They're
I was
No, you're the
moving
public.
Pause that real quick. If you see on our screen, one of our favorite, I believe she's a representative.
Maxine, hey, what's up, Maxine?
Yeah.
representative
She
for
tried
the
to
left.
involve herself and use the congressman a right to go into a detention facility where a certain individual was detained, and she was refused, or she was told they have to check on stuff before they can allow her in. So
I can't stand some of these Congress people, man. Especially it's all again same thing with the pride. It's virtue
yeah,
signaling.
what are you going there to check? What are you going there to achieve? Like, yeah, it's clout. Come on.
There's a virtue signal to her constituents. That's what she's-
Absolutely. Just getting ready for her next election. Also, there is, while on the topic
87.
of assets being moved throughout the country, there was a report, I didn't get a clip of it. Apparently, recently, a PhD from China came by and allowed or shipped certain pathogens to a university. And that is just a perfect example why we need to really control our borders better. Because that is an ongoing investigation right now. I can give you more context, but there's not a lot known about the situation yet. All that is known is that she mailed 3 specimens.
Viruses.
Yeah, 3 specimens that could be very harmful if they got out to a university. And my understanding is the university was not expecting these specimens. So why were they shipped there? I don't know. We're waiting for more information on that one before we could really talk about it and give you an honest opinion. But back to the topic. Let's finish off this video.
Assets, bro.
You're the puppet.
They're moving assets.
What do you mean, like military people?
Dude, study the Bolshevik War. It is happening in real time. 100%.
But
I just wanted to get that out to everybody because I'm trying to warn people. This is what's next.
Before Donald Trump was president.
Read the room, man. He knows what's coming. Yeah, and I think anybody could see this too. It's like obviously elected. Probably the biggest thing he ran on was immigration, and obviously, a lot of these like blue leftist cities, they're they want to import a new voter base. I think that's really what it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
that's
now
why they want to make the laws so lax.
Yeah. So now we got a video of the protests, and let's see how it started. They're throwing cement blocks not good, to say the least. We are going to shift a little bit to the controversy aspect of it, I guess you could label it. There is numerous clips and videos out there of certain suspicious activities going around. This one pertains to bionic face masks being delivered to the protesters. And not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 masks. We're talking about hundreds. Each one of these masks costs $60. I'll let her give you the context of what's going on right now.
No, hold on, just real quick.
Yes.
There is something where they're trying to people are trying to dress up as ICE agents or for some reason. Is that does it refer?
I've heard some things. I didn't find anything directly displaying that, but I've heard that. Yes, it's one of the things being told out there. I couldn't confirm or deny it, so I just didn't want to bring that up.
Okay.
This is.
Yep, absolutely. So we have, let me see if her name is here. I want to give her proper, I don't know if this is her actual account, GG214TX. But thank you for giving us the video and your reaction to it. She gives you quite a bit of context, so let's listen up.
Is wild. A mysterious black truck just passed out all of these expensive bionic face shields to protesters in LA, and the news caught it on camera. I zoomed in and found out this is the UVEX bionic shield. These are not cheap. They're around $45 to $65, and you can't just get them.
I'm sorry?
We had one of those at DECA. I had that shield.
Yes, I've worn similar shields. I don't know if it was a bionic face shield, per se, to alter my appearance for any videos or surveillance, but it was a face shield of that sort.
We used to work around battery acid.
Yeah,
so that's,
we had to wear a lot of PPE, is what they call it, a lot of protective equipment. But yeah, so let's get the rest of the context here.
I'm in bulk.
shield.
Yeah, memories.
But one place that sells them is Walmart. And why is that important? Because there's a new protest being promoted called No Kings on June 14th. And even celebrities like Chrissy Teigen are posting it. And it's in magazines and newspapers. And guess who's behind this message? Christy Walton. That's right, one of the billionaire heiresses, a part of the Walmart family. Now, I don't know why they would be behind that protest against President Trump, but remember, just less than 3 weeks ago, President Trump tweeted about the whole tariff situation, saying Walmart should stop trying to blame tariffs as the reason for raising prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars of last year, far more than expected. Between Walmart and China, they should, as is said, eat the tariffs and not charge valued customers anything. I'll be watching, and so will your customer.
I kind of agree with the mega corporations. I mean, it's like they're going to take a little bit of hit from the tariffs, but the tariffs thing is all resolved now, right? Or it's on a.
You can label it as ongoing, but it's definitely in the positive direction. A lot of good deals have been made with multiple nations and countries.
Some of which we've covered, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So, is it possible that maybe the Walmart family didn't like that and now they're finding ways to make their voices heard? Or is this just a big coincidence? As always, let me know what you think about all of this down below.
Thank you for the report.
Oh, that kind of gets into conspiracy territory. But as I've said many times, I think the difference between a conspiracy theory and the news is
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
It's 6 months.
And I forgot to mention this earlier. I just want to make sure that everyone is aware we are covering some sensitive topics today. So please be careful with what you find and just take everything with caution. But we are still talking about the riots. We have identified the person in that truck that was delivering those masks. He was, I believe, detained. A photo has surfaced of the man behind the wheel of the truck, used to deliver and hand out tens of thousands of dollars worth of face shields, masks, to the protesters in Los Angeles. He is reportedly affiliated with Local 399, a Southern California chapter of the Teamsters for the Democratic Union. Maybe it was an individual effort by him. Maybe he, willingly paid the tens of thousands of dollars for these masks to give out to people.
Oh, it's incredibly possible.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's just a really genuine person that really believes in the cause and wants to help out with every penny he has.
Sometimes I get bored and I go around and I was like, let me buy like 100 wicker chairs. I just start giving them out to people in the neighborhood.
Oh,
That's just something. Sometimes you need to buy a lot of something and then you're like, I got to pass it out to all my friends and family. Everybody in the street. It does happen.
But it's okay because it's nothing to worry about, because even if you are caught, here's what happens. Let me let the video tell you. According to this video, the protesters at LA riots heard calling out phone numbers for free bail. If you get arrested, quote, if you get arrested, call that number. We will bail you out for free, end quote. Who is funding these people? That is a great question, Sir Walter Kurt. Let's watch the video so that you can hear it for yourself.
All back there. What?
While you mentioned that, I've heard claims as I've seen actual advertisements while pulling up the information for this segment. I saw advertisements as far as saying they were willing to pay individuals that... Sorry, let me backtrack. It wasn't directly correlated to the riots, so I don't want to insinuate it's to the riots. But an organization out there on Craigslist was advertising strong men courageous men who want to stand for something, they are willing to pay $6,000 to $12,000, depending on your expertise and skills, per week. $6,000, $12,000 per week to help them with a cause that they didn't want to disclose. And this was posted about 2-3 weeks ago.
I think most of these riots are, well, they're either Soros funded or something to the equivalent of that. I mean, they've gone up to riot. I mean, there are people who go up to the rioters to interview them. The rioters sometimes, or the protesters, they're not always rioters, but protesters, they don't even know why they're there. They have no clue what they're even protesting. They're just like, hey,
this is where I was dropped off. This is where I was told to be.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's like, that's the Democrats' playbook. It's like with the Kamala rallies. You knew they were busting the same people in. Over and over and over, like, I don't know, like 50% of her audience had been to like 18 Kamala rallies before that. It's like, who is paying these people?
Yeah, when you can't get the people to come voluntarily, you got to make people come.
Oh, but somebody's paying them, whether it's the DNC or it's a Soros-funded thing. Somebody's doing,
Like we stated previously with the last video, I highly doubt that gentleman forked over the $10,000 or whatever, however much money it cost for all those masks. I'm sure somebody was funding him, paying him, and paying for all those masks to deliver those masks to the people that were protesting/rioting. Protesting and rioting, because some were doing protesting, some were doing rioting. But yeah, let's listen to the most important part of this video. Should be coming up. Did you hear that?
Yep.
It was a little low, but it might have been hard to hear. But this person right here talking on the megaphone, whatever it is, I'm sorry, repeated a number and said, if you get arrested, call this number. They will bail you out for free. Nothing else was said. Yep. So, again.
We've seen this,
Yeah.
I mean, Kamala Harris, back when she was VP, when the Minneapolis was burning, she was, for this, no cash bail type thing. It's like these people are burning down businesses.
Yeah. I mean, there's literally a fire right here. There's a fire right across the street from her. There's people throwing stuff. Yeah.
Mostly people fire.
And this is why it incentivizes people to take part in this, because what happens? They'll be bailed out free of charge.
You know what? I don't want to go off on a whole tangent here, but LA, especially, I mean, come on, you got to be a little smarter than this. If the fire breaks out, you have no water resources. We found this out from Cameron Glass 6 months ago. You don't have any water in the reservoirs. If this fire gets out of control, you're going to burn down Los Angeles.
That's another topic. We're talking about them thinking about something. I don't know if that's really possible, but let's finish this clip. I believe that's the most important. Let's finish
it. If you get arrested right
now, all these people driving by too, they're like, man, when can I get out of LA? That's what they're thinking. They're like, man,
I would have been moved out of LA a long time ago if that's where I lived. Speaking of which, let's hear from the governor, Gavin Newsom. I believe he has some interesting things to say. This is a little bit longer of a clip, but it is very relevant, and he has very important things that we can talk about. If you need me to pause it, please just let me know, and we can talk about each individual statement that he says.
Gavin Newsom always has important things to talk about.
I can't wait to talk about it.
I want to say a few words about the events of the last few days. This past weekend, federal agents conducted large-scale workplace raids in and around Los Angeles. Those raids continue as I speak. California is no stranger to immigration enforcement, but instead of focusing on undocumented immigrants with serious criminal records and people with final deportation orders, a strategy both parties have long supported, this administration is pushing mass deportations.
Hold on, pause it 1 second, Duke. I just have an idea.
Absolutely.
Oh no, I just had an idea.
So for anyone that's listening, what he is referring to is saying he should only be going after certain people that fit a certain criteria, i.e., people that have already been supposed to be deported that just haven't been, or criminals. Now, everyone has an opinion on this topic, obviously. The country is going crazy about this topic.
I just remembered I had headphones. I'm stupid.
Well, there you go. Yeah, let's put those headphones in.
Yeah, I'm having trouble hearing this. I'm sorry, everybody who's
No,
watching
you're
this.
fine.
I'm unprepared.
But as I'm telling everyone, Tyler, he's basically saying we should only go after certain illegal immigrants, not all illegal immigrants.
Well, I agree with him on that sense that we definitely like people who are violent. We should probably be trying to get them out first.
Mm-hmm.
But if you catch somebody, I'm all for just going. Oh,
I mean, yeah. If personally, we've talked about this. If they're classified as illegal, which means that they are here without proper visa documentation, green card, all any and all of that, there is ways to get into this country legally.
Mm-hmm.
If you're past your visa, I'm sorry, but
So
you have a chance to renew that visa. And if you choose not to renew that visa, any other country in the world would make you leave. So we have to follow. We have to do the same thing. There's nothing that we're doing that any other country doesn't do already. We have to protect our borders, and that includes deporting anybody that's not supposed to legally be here.
100% agree with that.
Not only the criminals, not only the people. We shouldn't wait till somebody commits a crime. Specifically,
Well,
especially if they're already here, committing a crime, being here illegally.
Well, I would say they've already committed a crime.
Yeah.
If you're coming into the country illegally, you've already committed a crime. So.
And I've said this already. I come from an immigrant family, and my mother even says numerous times when we have this conversation, she came to this country because she feared for her life, but she realizes and states herself she shouldn't have come here illegally because it was a big risk. She was lucky enough to have not been found and been deported and sent back to Colombia. She ended up meeting someone, my father, getting married in America, and getting her citizenship. So she ended up eventually going about the proper processes. See, that's the other topic. It's like just because you come here illegally doesn't mean you have to stay here illegally. You still, even if you're here, you can file to be here legally. You just have to file the paperwork.
It's super easy to do.
Yeah, you literally just have to file. I don't want to say easy. Yeah,
yeah, I don't want to say it's easy.
Any government paperwork is a headache. Yeah, any government paperwork is a headache, but it's possible. And if you're going to be here for years, if you're going to be here for years, decades,
20 years, 2 decades,
you're telling me you couldn't fill out a form? You're telling me you couldn't go to an interview? You're telling me you couldn't follow the due process to be here legally, so you don't have to worry about being deported?
Yeah,
because it literally, if you do the paperwork, you don't have to worry about being deported. Typically, as long as you're not committing any crimes, you won't lose your visa. But anyway, let's get back to his statement. Are you ready to go, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we got
discriminately targeting hardworking immigrant families, regardless of their roots or risk. What's happening right now is very different than anything we've seen before. On Saturday morning, when federal agents jumped out of an unmarked van near a Home Depot parking lot, they began
We already know political statements. They always embellish things. There's nothing new.
Do you realize how racist that is? What's happening at Home Depot parking lots? It's like, dude, the Democrats are so racist, and yet they're like, oh, no, the Republicans are the racist ones. It's like, dude, you like,
yeah.
Oh, you throw out statements like that.
ICE, ICE performed a raid in a known location for illegal immigrants. Again, if they're not illegal, I would hope ICE isn't taking them. I don't believe they are. I haven't seen any factual, proven evidence that they are truly taking documented legal immigrants.
This is off the topic too, but they brought the Maryland man back, right? Now they're going to charge him with trafficking.
They brought him back, and they're going to charge him. All right.
Yep.
Well, there's an update for you on that story. But let's get back to our pressing story of
let's listen.
the
Let's
LA
listen to what
protests
Newsom has to say.
and what the governor has to say. Yep.
He's the worst governor. He's the worst.
Grabbing people, a deliberate targeting of a heavily Latino suburb. A similar scene played out when a clothing company was raided downtown. In other actions, a U.S. citizen, 9 months pregnant, was arrested. A 4-year-old girl taken. Families separated. Friends, quite literally, disappearing. In response, everyday Angelenos came out to exercise their constitutional right to free speech and assembly, to protest their government's actions. In turn, the state of California and the city and county.
So I'm going to pause it right there. I want to be clear. Protest is a good thing. I love people having their voice heard if it's protest. But as soon as the protest stops and it turns into something else, whatever you want to label it, I don't condone it.
I would say.
Protest
I would say too.
Go ahead.
No, I'm fine with. Yeah, protesting is fine as long as it doesn't turn violent. But I would say people who are protesting, if you are an illegal immigrant, do you have that right to protest?
That's another statement.
Are you fully protected by the Constitution? Because you're not an American. The Constitution is for American citizens.
Correct.
You're not an American citizen, so are you afforded the same liberties?
The rights American citizens have do not transfer over to people that are not citizens of this country and or here documented legally.
Well, and if I went over to France and I wanted to protest their immigration, and they were like, "Hey, we don't," and France is, they've been immigrating, or a lot of people have been coming there.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wanted to protest that, and they were like, "Hey, listen, we don't want you protesting that. Get out of our country." Yeah. Well, I'm not a citizen of France. So
another country, exactly, like I stated before, other countries do this, if not worse, to protect their borders. We have laws in place, and as far as I can tell, most of them are being followed. The protest is not a protest anymore. It has not been a protest since the first day. In my eyes.
I don't think they're even being followed. When you're doxing ICE agents, when you're trying, there was this thing, I don't know if you saw it, it was on Twitter, this guy, LA Scanner.
Yep, I saw it.
Yeah, he had this whole thing going on where he was trying to dox ICE agents, try to get people avoiding it, and then somebody doxed him, and he's like, well, this is too far. It's like, well, this is what you're doing to these people.
It's like, this is what you did to them, and why is it okay for you to do it to them, but not people to do it to you?
Well, I don't think anybody should be doxing anybody.
Absolutely. But it was a consequence of his actions. You want to dox people? Okay, I guess you're doxed. Yeah. And he wasn't too happy about it.
He didn't like it.
Surprise, surprise, he wasn't too happy about it. And he immediately retracted and apologized for everything he did.
Yep.
So, let's get back to Newsom and his great knowledge.
Of Los Angeles sent our police officers to help keep the peace. And with some exceptions, they were successful. Like many states, California is no stranger to this sort of unrest. We manage it regularly and with our own law enforcement. But this, again, was different. What then ensued was the use of tear gas, flashbang grenades, rubber bullets, federal agents detaining people and undermining their due process rights. Donald Trump.
Just pause right there for a second. Mm-hmm. If Newsom could control his state, which is very, very clear that he can't, because it's not just the wildfires, it's not just this thing with the immigration. People are leaving California at 100 million, or not 100 million, 1 million people are fleeing California every single year to go to other states. You can't control your own state. Karen Bass, mayor of LA, cannot control LA. It's very clear. If you were doing your job correctly, Trump would have never called the National Guard in. It's because of your failed leadership that this is all happening.
Yeah, his statement is bullshit. He says, we're working in some areas. No, not from anything I've seen. Maybe there might be an isolated one area that you were able to calm down. I still don't believe that for 1 second. It has spread even further than California, which we'll get into in a little bit. But they are not successful in anything. And they are not successful in calming this down.
Newsom was very successful. I think it was in 2023 when Xi Jinping visited. Oh, they
yeah.
cleaned up San Francisco real
They
fast.
were
for
successful
Xi
in that.
Jinping.
Yep. When they had a leader from another country come into their state, they were definitely successful in that. Which is funny
And
because
yet,
in what, 24, 48 hours, whatever it was, they were able to clean the place completely, spick and span. Homelessness was solved in 24 to 48 hours, basically,
well,
with
it
what
was
they
moved
were
out.
doing.
It was moved out of public view.
Well,
But yet,
either way, they showed that they're able to solve certain issues that they are plagued with, but
yet,
they don't choose to. It's bullshit when
and
he
yet,
says that. Oh yeah, we
and
fix
yet,
things.
the Democrats will call Trump the bootlicker. I don't know, man.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm glad somebody from China gets California able to do something. I guess. Let's finish off.
Yeah, if Trump visited, that wouldn't have the same effect. But
Oh no. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
Xi Jinping
We're
comes
not going
in,
to clean the place for our
we gotta clean it
president,
up.
or we're not going to clean the place for our citizens, but we'll clean the place
Nope.
for China's leader.
Oh man, sorry, I'm wiping myself off. I'm numb.
The topics are
All
getting
right,
you
yeah.
that hot, huh?
Yeah, it's the fires.
Out consulting California law enforcement leaders commandeered 2,000 of our state's National Guard members to deploy on our streets illegally and for no reason. This brazen abuse of power by a sitting president inflamed a combustible situation, putting our people, our officers, and even our National Guard at risk. That's when the downward spiral began.
Yeah,
By who?
I
By
believe
who?
this. It's going to be hard
By
for us to get through
who
this
knew
8-minute
something?
segment of this because
All right,
he has a lot of stuff that it's just like wow, his head
all right,
scratches
I'm
stuff. Yeah, let's try
gonna cut
our best to let him talk. But yeah, I understand, man. Listen, when I watched it the first time, everything you're saying, I said when I first watched it to myself, I'm like, what is he saying? Like this is crazy. But yes, let's let him finish.
He doubled down on his dangerous National Guard deployment by fanning the flames even harder. And the president, he did it on purpose. As the news spread throughout LA, anxiety for family and friends ramped up. Protests started again. By night, several dozen lawbreakers became violent and destructive. They vandalized property. They tried to assault police officers. Many of you have seen the video clips of cars burning on cable news. If you incite violence, I want to be clear about this.
So before he gives his wonderful statement of people who incite violence,
that goes beyond protest, obviously.
It's not shocking, but he's basically blaming all this quote-unquote riot now. Oh, it wasn't a riot. It was a protest before, and we had it under control, but as soon as Trump sent his goons over here, it escalated. Because there wasn't a single fire before the National Guard got involved. There wasn't a single police car or police officer injured in your protest. There wasn't any damage to any property whatsoever before the National Guard got there.
Cleaning up this problem with illegal immigration is not going to be pretty. There are going to be some, shocking or tear-jerking videos. But the alternative is what? To have unchecked immigration?
We've seen what happens to other countries and when they are faced with the same dilemma. And it's just as ugly for them, and it'll be just as ugly for us. It sucks, but it's a problem that needs to be fixed because this is not going to get better. Like we've reported numerous times already on different segments, I'm tired of reading articles and reading reports of people that aren't supposed to be in this country hurting citizens, bombing places, killing people, unaliving people. Sorry. It needs to stop.
It was just last week. We talked about Colorado.
Yep.
And that guy, he's legally
He shouldn't have been in this country.
Yep.
But here we go.
No other country in the world has unchecked immigration. There is no place that has unchecked immigration. But America should be that place.
We've allowed a lot of people to come in this country unvetted, and now we're paying the consequences for it. So we need to fix it. We need to figure it out and fix it. Let's finish.
Burning on cable news. If you incite violence, I want to be clear about this. If you incite violence or destroy our communities, you're going to be held to account. That kind of criminal behavior will not be tolerated. Full stop. Already more than 220 people have been arrested, and we're reviewing tapes to build additional cases, and people will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Again, thank enforcement officers and the majority of Angelenos who protested peacefully. the situation was winding down
at one
and was concentrated in just a few square blocks downtown. But that's not what Donald Trump wanted. He again chose escalation. He chose more force. He chose theatrics over public safety. He federalized another 2,000 Guard members. He deployed more than 700 active U.S. Marines. These are the men and women trained for foreign combat, not domestic law enforcement. We honor their service. We honor their bravery. But we do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces. Not in LA, not in California, not anywhere.
I think the National
We're seeing
Guard
unmarked
is
cars.
pretty-
Unmarked.
The National Guard is trained. Yeah, the National Guard is trained for, domestic and foreign.
Yes.
They're the National
100%.
Guard.
Yeah.
They are trained for both.
100%.
Mr. New Scum.
And last I checked, the military, all their boot camps are in America, or most of them. I'm pretty sure they're trained for foreign
All their
conflicts,
camps are trained, yeah.
but they are definitely trained and knowledgeable about what is going on in America. And they are absolutely qualified to help with this situation.
Cars in school parking lots, kids afraid of attending their own graduation. Trump is pulling a military dragnet all across Los Angeles, well beyond his stated intent to just go after violent and serious criminals. His agents are arresting dishwashers, gardeners, day laborers, and seamstresses. That's just weakness masquerading as strength. Donald Trump's government isn't protecting our communities, they're traumatizing our communities. And that seems to be the entire point. California will keep fighting. We'll keep fighting on behalf of our people, all of our people, including in the courts. Just yesterday,
Because nobody's been traumatized by an illegal immigrant taking one of their family members, injuring one of their family members. What about Lake and Riley or Jocelyn Nunneray or any of these people who have lost loved ones or have died because it has been an illegal immigrant who's been able to, one, fly around the country wherever the hell they want to, and two, they're unvetted and they come here. Some of these people are criminals. Some of them are murderers. Just listen, if you've been here for 20 years, I'm sorry. You could go seek out citizenship. You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's not a fun process, but geez, we got to vet people. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
filed a legal challenge to Donald Trump's reckless deployment of American troops to a major American city. Today, we sought an emergency court order to stop the use of the American military to engage in law enforcement activities across Los Angeles. If some of us could be snatched off the streets without a warrant, based only on suspicion or skin color, then none of us are safe. Authoritarian regimes begin by targeting people who are least able to defend themselves, but they do not stop there. Trump and his loyalists, they thrive on division because it allows them to take more power and exert even more control. And by the way, Trump, he's not opposed to lawlessness and violence as long as it serves him. What more evidence do we need than January 6th?
Yeah,
Ask everyone.
He's the only president who hasn't
Take
started
time,
any wars.
reflect on this perilous moment.
loves
A
violence.
president who wants to be bound by no law or constitution, perpetuating a unified assault on American traditions. This is a president who in just over 140 days has fired government watchdogs that could hold him accountable for corruption and fraud. He's declared a war on culture, on history, on science, on knowledge itself. Databases, quite literally, are vanishing. He's delegitimizing news organizations, and he's assaulting the First Amendment. And the threat of defunding them. At threat, he's dictating what universities themselves can teach. He's targeting law firms and the judicial branch that are the foundations of an orderly and civil society. He's calling for a sitting governor to be arrested for no other reason than to, in his own words,
You mean yourself?
for getting elected. And we all know this Saturday, he's ordering our American heroes, the United States military, and forcing them to put on a vulgar display to celebrate his birthday, just as other failed dictators have done in the past. Look, this isn't just about protests here in Los Angeles. When Donald Trump sought blanket authority to commandeer the National Guard, he made that order apply to every state in this nation. This is about all of us. This is about you. California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is...
I'm just going to pause it right there for a second. I'm sorry. As a member of the Pennsylvania state, I will go ahead and tell you right now, if there are riots, not protests, if there are riots in the street, please call the National Guard here to help us. I'm going to say that right now. Please, Donald Trump, call the National Guard to help us if there are rioters in the street, if there are people looting stores in the street, please bring the National Guard to Pennsylvania.
Well, that's what the National Guard is for. If you're going to deploy them domestically, it's to restore order. We can't live in a society of chaos here, and that's what they want. California is literally it's a society of chaos. I think I've told you my California story. I was to California one time. I was just getting a connecting flight. I never left the airport, and maybe it was just coincidence. I have no idea. But within 5 minutes of getting off the plane, going to a different terminal, waiting for my next flight to go home, I saw a guy have a breakdown, just start screaming, taking his clothes off in the middle of the LAX airport. I've been in California, mind you. This is my first time ever there. I've been here 5 minutes. I'm not out of the airport. And I'm just like, holy crap, man. It just kind of reinforced all these negative stereotypes that I thought about California. I'm like, maybe this place really is crazy. I always make fun of California. And this is my only experience. I was only there 3 hours, but I saw somebody have a mental breakdown. I'm not going to say that's the whole of it. I'm just this is there's just a lot of loony people out there, man. I don't know. I would not go to California.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was my tangent, but
it's pretty bad.
I don't know.
Is next. Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived. He's taking a wrecking ball to our founding fathers' historic project. 3 co-equal branches of independent government. There are no longer any checks and balances. Congress is nowhere to be found. Speaker Johnson has completely abdicated that responsibility. The rule of law has increasingly been given way to the rule of Don. The founding fathers, they didn't live and die to see this kind of moment. It's time for all of us to stand up. Justice Brandeis, he said it best. In a democracy, the most important office, with all due respect, Mr. President, is not the presidency, and it's certainly not governor. The most important office is office of citizen. At this moment, we all need to stand up and be held to account, a higher level of accountability. If you exercise your First Amendment rights, please do it peacefully. I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear, but I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. What Donald Trump wants most is your fealty, your silence to be complicit in this moment. Do not give in to him.
Hold on, pause that right there. Hold on, I guess it's over.
It's over, yeah.
Replay. No. Replay the last part real quick, the last 20 seconds. Replay that.
I want to say a few words.
Just say?
Presidency, and it's certainly not governor. The most important office is office of citizen. At this moment, we all need to stand up and be held to account, a higher level of accountability. If you exercise your First Amendment rights, please do it peacefully. I know many of you are important office is office.
No, not that part.
Of
It
citizen.
sounds like he's
At this moment,
when he says it.
this moment, we all need to
What do you want to hear? I'm sorry.
No, just play the rest of the
stand up and be held to account, a higher level of accountability. If you exercise your First Amendment rights, please do it peacefully. I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear, but I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. What Donald Trump wants most is your fealty, your silence to be complicit in this moment.
Silence.
Do not give in to him.
Yep.
Do not give in to fealty and do not give in to silence. Now, I know he did just say, "Oh, do it peacefully," but that sounds to me like a call to action. That's what it sounds like to me. You don't want.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want
That's what it
people to
sounds
stand
like.
around and do nothing. That's literally what he said.
Yeah.
Don't let them just do whatever they want. Stand up and without saying it, he's saying stand up and stop them.
I mean, we've already seen that Newsom, he will let California burn. Well, through incompetence, I guarantee you he'll let it burn to make a point. I guarantee it.
It really comes down to if you had this issue taken care of, if it was just a protest, other actions wouldn't have had to take place. I'm sorry. What you're saying and what we're seeing with all the evidence out there, with all the individual videos out there, this was not fixed. The protests were not calmed down. I want to be clear. Protests, I'm okay with. I'm fine with. People are allowed to protest. Please talk about what you feel. I may not agree with it, but you're allowed to do it in this country. It's one of the great things about this country. You're allowed to speak your mind. But once we cross that boundary of damaging property, hurting our wonderful police department, destroying their equipment, it's not a protest.
Oh yeah,
It's
it's
not a
become civil
protest.
unrest. Civil unrest, and obviously,
And then when we go even farther and start looting small businesses, it doesn't matter if they're big or small. If we start looting businesses, that's definitely not a protest.
well, well, that's what all these protests, all the peaceful protests. Remember in the summer of love, the George Floyd riot.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it all devolves into it. Eventually, it devolves into chaos. I'm not saying
Mm.
everyone's doing it, but it does. It devolves into chaos. It devolves into looting. It devolves into pillaging and burning. You know,
You need to have an actual plan when you're protesting. If you want it to actually be a successful
we're not
protest,
we're
and
not
I don't mean
sacking
like
the
changing
gulls
anything,
here. You know,
you need to have a plan of organization to the point where you stop people that try to turn it into a riot. So you stop because you know it's going to happen. There's always going to be those individuals that stop. And I'm actually going to play one clip very shortly.
Alexander
I don't know if
caused
it's
less
this one.
destruction on his way to Persia, except for maybe Persepolis or Tyre. But like, they didn't loot as bad. Maybe that. No, that's an exaggeration. Probably.
I must have
I
got rid
don't
of the
know.
one
I
clip,
don't know.
but
No, that's not.
there was a clip that I had of an individual. I'll give you a quick synopsis of the clip. A bunch of people were trying to break into a 7-Eleven and loot it. I'm not exactly sure what town it was in, but the video showed everyone that either owned or worked at the 7-Eleven literally pulling the doors closed and stopping people from opening them to come in and loot because the protests and looting was happening actively throughout numerous stores and blocks in that area. Some individual came by at the end, which I believe was a protester, and he verbalized to everyone, stop this. This is not what we're about. This is not our message. We do not loot. Stop this. You're not part of our organization. And that's exactly what needs to happen more. Because you have these people that will take this vulnerable situation and do what they will with it. You know, whether it's for their own personal gain, trying to steal nice Nikes or a new Apple phone or whatever it may have you be. But we can't
It won't
allow it.
happen.
We can't allow it in these desperate times, especially when you're trying to get a message across. Oh, we're good people. We belong in this country. We do this. But then you have people that are part of your group that are doing criminal activities.
Well, maybe even not, but they are.
Maybe they're
speaking
not
on
part of your
behalf.
group, but either way, they're taking part in your demonstration and giving your movement a bad name. And you need to take accountability for it and stop it as well. Because if
Well,
you're
what would
like Governor Newsom says, if you're complacent and sit there and just allow it to happen, you're guilty too. You need to be accountable.
no
That's what
guilty,
Governor
no
Newsom said.
silent. Well, also the clip you played before, I think, is pretty telling too. The whole, oh, if you get arrested during rioting, it's all right. Then we'll just bail you out, and
Yep.
there'll be no consequence.
It incentivizes people to do
It incentivizes people to
unforgivable
not care.
things. Yeah. What's going to stop people who were on the fence? You know what? I'd really like to go try and steal ... But, oh, wait. If I call this number and they'll bail me out, so even if I get caught trying to steal something, I'm not going to get in trouble? Psh, let me get my shoes. Let me get my wallet. Let me get my whatever. Let's go.
It's my conspiracy theorist brain too that says, I think most of these some people are probably, really down for the cause, but I think other people are paid to be there. I think a lot of them are
Oh,
paid out.
100%. We've already talked about it already. Again, another clip that I was looking for. There's so much information out there. You can't look at any news feed and not be shoved in the face with all this content of, again, the LA protest, quote unquote.
It's ongoing.
Yeah.
It's
Speaking of which, it is no longer an LA protest. Well, it is an LA protest, but it has spread. Just like the one video that I played earlier, they were talking about June 14th being the date for civil unrest to be called for in certain major cities. It has already started. Per this source of Nick Sorter, police in Chicago are now deploying bomb squads to downtown after a anti-ICE rioter entered the sewer system and planted suspicious items. This is mayhem. We're getting very close to needing National Guard deployed to Chicago. So now we're in Chicago. Let's look at this video and see what they're dealing with in Chicago.
Do you think Brandon just anyway, you think Brandon Johnson's running Chicago correctly? He's got like an 11% approval rating in a city full of Democrats. Like 11%.
Well, let's see how they're doing today. City. Total chaos. Again, Nick Sorter. He is reporting on a lot of civil unrest in different cities. This one, total chaos, is unfolding outside of the Federal Plaza in New York City as anti-ICE rioters attempt to block ICE vans from moving. They're assaulting officers and destroying barricades, but New York PD isn't tolerating it. Mass arrests. So let's see what's going on in New York City.
Go! Come on, asshole!
Real quick, I'm not sure why, but if you look closely to all these garbage cans. Of worries if they're not putting explosive devices, just like the previous video said, like they are speculating there is devices being planted in the sewer system in Chicago. Now, this is New York City, but if it's happening in Chicago, do you think it's not happening in another city?
It very much could be.
So let's finish this video. Again, New York Looks like a nice civil protest to me. Like you said, you couldn't pay me to be a NYPD.
Probably not anywhere, but yeah, especially a liberal
NY?
city.
Oh my God, I can't imagine what they've had to deal with. I mean, look at 9/11, for instance. Imagine what every single firefighter, police officer, I mean, even the surrounding states were sending people to help with that whole disaster. But yeah, anyway, back to this topic. This is what's going on.
That guy hit my phone. Okay. Yo, why are you knocking?
In case you're noticing, there's plenty of protesters, I'm labeling them as protesters, standing around while only a couple individuals are being detained/arrested. I would assume these people that are getting detained/arrested crossed the line of protesting, and that's why they are being detained/arrested. Hence why not everyone, just unlike the news medias or some news medias like to maybe display it, not everyone is being arrested. Only certain individuals that take it a little too far.
Well, to me, it just looks like absolute chaos, and it's like,
Yep. I'd hate to be living there right now.
I don't know what the alternative would be. Trump, obviously, he ran. His biggest thing he ran on was illegal immigration. He's not going to back down from this.
No.
And all these people
Especially
who are
now
gonna resist,
with how far they're invested into it, no way.
Yeah, they're just gonna make it worse. Like that's all this is doing. It's not gonna solve anything. You're not gonna stop Trump from doing this by having this civil unrest. If we, yeah, let's call it civil unrest just for the sake of argument. But it's not gonna stop anything.
All
It's
right,
just
well,
it's
on to our next major city. Anti-ice raids, again from Nick Sorter, anti-ice raids have now spread to Atlanta, where police are launching tear gas to retake control of a chicken restaurant. It's been described as a war zone. Not my words, quote unquote war zone. And how many more Democratic cities are going to be under siege tonight. Again, that video that we played earlier was calling for this for June 14th. It is now June 11th. I can only imagine what's going to happen in 3 days. I really hope it doesn't happen. But we're 3 days prior to what that flyer says, and we're seeing how many cities now? And this is just what I'm showing you. There's numerous.
Number 4.
Yeah, there's numerous cities that I didn't even pull up. But anyway, let's get to the video for Atlanta.
He's getting it. He's getting it. Film it. Film it. Holy shit. Film it. He's got a cone on it.
He just threw one. They just threw one.
This is well practiced. This is a cone that they put on the smoke grenades and everything. They're putting, it's a perfect organized tactic here. You gotta be careful because of all the smoke grenades.
Yeah, they're starting to throw.
But they're putting cones, the protesters are putting cones on the smoke grenades. This is what they've been taught to do by well-paid organizers like George Soros and now his son Alex Soros. The destabilization that is happening nationwide now, as you can see in Atlanta, same thing that's happening in LA, happening in Atlanta now. Quite literally because of these organizations. And as you can see, the
replay this because what he is saying.
He's getting it. He's getting it. Film it. Film it.
Holy shit.
Film it. He's got a cone on it.
He just threw one. They just threw one.
This is well practiced. This is a cone that they put on the smoke grenades and everything. They're putting, it's a perfect organized tactic here. You gotta be careful because of all the smoke grenades.
Yeah, they're starting to throw.
But they're putting cones, the protesters are putting cones on the smoke grenades. This is what they've been taught to do by well-paid organizers like George Soros and now his son Alex Soros. The destabilization that is happening nationwide now, as you can see in Atlanta, same thing that's happening in LA, happening in Atlanta now. Quite literally because of these organizations.
Holy
And as you
shit.
can see, the protesters, they're fighting back, they're throwing fireworks directly at the police here. So we're gonna keep it going, let's go. That's gonna get bad. He's getting it, he's getting it. Film it.
Holy shit.
Film it. He's got a cone on it.
That's what I believe.
I mean, how many
all
cities
the-
is this? Like you said, I've reported on 4. We have our 5th one, I believe. Or no, sorry. We're done with
And all these
cities.
All these
but yes.
protesters are giving breadcrumbs too. They're just the little monkeys on the grinders going. Ooh. It's like, while these people sit back and watch them do their bidding.
I mean,
They-
certain different scenarios and situations that I've seen videos of definitely seem quite organized. They don't seem like an individual or two doing their own will. They definitely seem like a bigger picture, organized plan, taken action. But that's just what my 2 cents is. Anyway, so let's get to this video. This is of Mr. President Obama and what he has to say during his presidency. This gentleman, America Real, was nice enough to make this video displaying Obama's views. I'll just place this very convenient video right here.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half-century. And to those members of Congress who question my authority to make our immigration system work better, or question the wisdom of me acting where Congress has failed, I have one answer. Pass a bill. If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally...
Our president, or Obama.
Former President Obama.
Yeah, former President Obama.
For those of you who don't know, Obama was, and actually still is, the deporter-in-chief. He has deported
Correct.
more people out of the country than anybody else.
And at
And
this point, it's still looking like Trump is not even going to come near to his numbers.
he probably won't. But this is I mean, I just want to do the juxtaposition of this is where the Democrats were just 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This was their stance.
Yep.
And now, if you asked Obama about it now, I guarantee you Obama would have a completely different stance on it.
Oh, I'm
because
sure
now
he
that's
wouldn't
what
repeat
the
what
party
he
has
said.
shifted
Yep.
away from it.
Yep.
These people don't believe in anything. They believe in whatever their party line tells them to.
Yeah, they believe in their agenda, and that's it. Anyway, so Japan sprays rioters and looters with blue dye so they can be identified and arrested later. How about it, America? Just thought that was an interesting tidbit, and maybe something we should start implementing.
Japan does not mess around with immigration.
No, yeah, it's
most
well,
countries
honestly,
don't.
most
They
countries
shouldn't.
don't. I was just about to say, yeah, it's not something that should be taken lightly with rioters and looters. If somebody is causing property damage or harm to anyone or any business, it should not be handled calmly.
You know, the worst offenders really are like, the U.S. and Western European countries like the U.K., France, Germany, Ireland. Ireland is having a huge crisis right now with immigration.
You hear it all the time, yep. And each country has to handle it the best way that they believe they can. And that's what Donald Trump is doing right now. We're handling it the best that he believes he can.
It's just be like Poland. Be based like Poland. Poland is based. So
I mean, people need to definitely understand. There's countries out there that
nobody comes here.
There's countries out there that do not allow immigrants at all. Their borders are closed. They do not allow immigrants. And if that's how they want to do it, that's how they want to do it. That's their country. They can vote on it. They can decide that. But we have laws in place, and we need to really protect our borders.
Is a country of immigrants.
There's laws to protect our borders. We need to follow them.
America has always been a country of immigrants, and I don't think it's necessarily such a bad thing that it would still be a country of immigrants. But people have to be vetted. Everybody who came in before, they were vetted.
It can't just be anybody. It can't just be any immigrant that wants to come here. It has, like you said, they have to be vetted.
Yes,
at the very least, they have to be vetted. Yeah, I have no problem with. Like I said, I come from an immigrant family. I'm the first American born in my family.
Oh, really?
You have to be vetted before you come to this country for our protection, for your protection, for everyone's protection involved in this scenario, so that again we can stop reporting on cases of people that are in this country illegally harming our citizens.
100% agree with you on that one.
It's that simple.
Give me 30 seconds. I will be right back.
All right. While he is getting situated, we have finally finished our segment for the LA protests, quote unquote. If you liked or didn't like that segment, please let us know. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think is going on, and if you think it's going to escalate, what city is next? Where do you think this is going to spread to? Hopefully it doesn't spread. I'm hoping it doesn't. I just want to be clear. I'm hoping this does gets calmed down, and we can resolve this with minimal casualties, minimal property damage, minimal everything. Realistically, there's too many people that are fueling it. I feel like this is definitely going to expand, and we'll definitely be reporting on it, see what happens. But please let us know in the comments how you feel and what you think we should do about this situation. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes, but a couple more seconds for Mr. Tyler. No problem. I just made sure to remind our audience to like, share, and subscribe, and let us know what they thought about our segment and if what they would do in this situation or how we should handle this situation as America.
Are we moving on to my favorite climate activist?
Yes, we are on to our next topic. Good old Greta Thunberg and her
terrorist supporter,
quote-unquote kidnapping.
I love Greta Thunberg.
When I first saw that label, kidnapping, I was like, what is this? Because we already reported on this, and her... Oh, what are we calling it? What are we calling it? What humanitarian mission?
I'll give a little synopsis here.
Go ahead.
For anybody who doesn't know, we covered Greta Thunberg last week. I'm not going to get into all the thing about Greta Thunberg, but she was on the Freedom Flotilla with Liam Cunningham, the guy who played Davos from Game of Thrones, and a bunch of other socialist celebrity activists or whatever, and they were bringing like I don't know a couple pounds of baby formula to Gaza to try to break the siege, and obviously because they broadcast it all
Yeah.
over social media, you
Craziness.
know, it
Well,
kind of it's kind of Israel might have known they were coming because
yeah.
they posted it on Twitter. So
Well, this is going to give you a little bit of context as well. So let's watch this video to get the full context.
she
Not
was
full
she was
context, but
being
accurate context of everything.
the last we heard they were she was being drone striked or something like that. Israel was flying drones over
That's
them. They're worried
that's
about
what
they
they
being
told.
bombed.
That's what they said.
Yes,
But
that
there
is
was no
the
drone strike, as far as I know. Again, let's play the videos and let the content speak for itself.
All those scenarios were included in our risk assessments that we have made prior to getting out of this on this mission. And of course, we know that it's a very risky mission, and we know that previous experiences with flotillas like this has resulted in attacks, interceptions, violence, and even cases of death. But of course, none of those risks are even remotely as high as to the risk that Palestinians are facing every day just by trying to survive. And right now, as you said, the mission is to get to Gaza to be able to deliver and distribute the humanitarian aid that we're carrying. We are well aware of the risk.
You would know there's no way they're carrying that much humanitarian.
Oh, believe
aid
me, we're definitely going to be talking about it. There's a couple videos that I have on this topic, and we'll definitely be talking about it.
Do you think the frog hat is like signaling the Groypers? Is that a thing, or is that just coincidental?
I will let you. I let the audience try and figure that out for themselves. You connect whatever dots you may want to connect, or not connect anything. You're up to you. For your interpretation. I'll leave it at that. But I just wanted to also know, we're not talking about the actual issue in Gaza right now. I'm not saying Israel or Palestine is correct in it, or we're not having that conversation. This is specifically about Greta and her humanitarian mission.
Or activism, or so-called activism.
Whatever you want to call it.
Going there, but we are aiming for that.
So you were talking, Greta, about the risk assessment and being prepared for any eventuality in any scenario. So let me ask you this. How far are you willing to go? Because we don't know what kind of confrontation you could face. We just know that you've been warned.
Yeah, and of course the uncertainties are very big here. We have gone out on this mission knowing the risks. But again, not saying anything in times of injustice, when we are facing genocide, to be silent is by far a bigger risk than getting on this mission. And we are preparing to respond in a non-violent way. We are 12 peaceful volunteers on this mission. We are not carrying weapons. We are carrying food, sanitary products, medical supplies, things that are necessary to get into Gaza that have been prevented by Israel from getting into Gaza. And we are sailing on international waters, bringing humanitarian aid.
With Greta a little bit here. Like I do think what's happening in Gaza, because Israel and the IDF are trying to ruin Hamas. I don't think that's right, but I don't think Greta's doing any favors to anybody with this stupid activism stunt. It's just you're trying to get your name in headlines.
It's an empty attempt at trying to fix what's going on over there.
If they stop this humanitarian aid, that is a crime. We are not doing anything wrong here. We are just doing our part to continue to try to break the siege on Gaza and to open up a humanitarian corridor.
All right. So she is trying her best to help the cause.
All those scenarios
she can. Well, let's see if I could find the picture. There is one of the people that she is on the ship with, or was on the ship with.
They look like they're having a good time. I don't know. It looked to me like it was like
they
some
were
type
drinking
of like,
martinis, champagne, and just having a grand old time.
Yeah, but it looked like a vacation cruise.
They were swimming in the ocean. They took time to stop the ship so that they could swim.
They were going at a very leisurely pace, because I think when we reported on this, they were supposed to get there by the 7th, and I don't think they got there
No, definitely not. Yeah.
The 9th?
Yeah, they definitely didn't get there by the 7th. There was a couple pictures of her drinking on the ship and all that for her humanitarian mission, but yeah, it's take it with a grain of salt. I understand what she said, and I understand what her mission was, but yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and defend Greta here with her drinking habits. If I was going to go try to break a siege in Israel, I'd want to be sloshed too. Just saying. I wouldn't want to do that sober.
Well, surprise, surprise. Israel detains Greta Thunberg on the boat and all the other people on the boat of the flotilla. Crew met with sandwiches and water, now being safely towed to Ashdod in southern Israel, where they will be forced to watch the 43-minute video of Hamas October 7th atrocities, then flown home on a one-way ticket. Thankfully, it doesn't have any message of the quote-unquote kidnapping, because like I said when we first started this segment, apparently she was kidnapped.
Israel.
She was not kidnapped.
Just what you mentioned here, Israel turns around. It's like you think you know about propaganda? Yeah. I'll show you propaganda. Yeah. I'll show it to you.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is the video of the
where is he?
Where's my margarita?
Oh my God!
Where is he?
That's her and the rest of the people on the ship getting detained by Israel. Greta Thunberg refuses to watch the footage. Per Jake Wallace Simmons, Greta Thunberg refuses to watch the footage of October 7th before she was deported, closing her eyes to the reality. That says it all.
We got to cover this on Friday. I can't wait for her to get on the news and everything. They gave me a sandwich and they told me to go home.
Well, let's see what he has to say about this.
You can only sustain a worldview like Greta Thunberg has if you keep yourself away from reality. As soon as you're in touch with actual real people and real suffering and the reality on the ground, you just can't sustain that ideological way of seeing things. Unfortunately, the latest news I'm hearing from Israel is that she and her compadres have refused to watch that footage. And of course, the brutal Israelis have no way of forcing them to watch it if they really don't want to. So she's keeping herself insulated from the actual facts over which she purports to have such passions. And the whole thing is it just really drives home that this sort of activism is not really about the real people. It's not about the real Palestinians or the real Israelis. You can see that by how she's cosplaying on our screens at the moment, culturally appropriating the Palestinian keffiyeh. She wouldn't do that with a Mexican sombrero, but she's doing it with a keffiyeh. Right. It's not about them. It's not about the reality. It's about herself. It's about how much she loathes her teachers, the establishment, and the West. And look, you know, the Israelis were trying to do us all a favor by educating her a little bit, but this isn't the first time she's refused free education, as we know.
That's not. Pause that real quick. That's not her fault that she's not educated. She dropped out of school when she was 12. That's not her fault. That's on her parents.
That's It's
on her.
But it continues. I mean, at any point, any single day of your life, you're able to seek knowledge, and I guess she still has yet to want to seek knowledge.
Well, what would her knowledge be? Her knowledge is, if I tie myself to causes, I will get attention, and therefore I will get money. That's her whole life. That's all she's. I mean, she's been raised like that. I honestly, I think Greta Thunberg is a hilarious character. I really do.
Well,
but
now on Thunberg,
some of this I don't think is her fault. You know, I really don't.
It doesn't. It definitely doesn't start with her. You know, like we highlighted her parents. Like, where were her parents in her younger years when she was still developing and her mind was still developing, and just allowing her to, you know, turn into this is just shameful.
She's a puppet used for global elites, and if she stops the grift, then she's irrelevant and she's nothing. So you're going to keep grifting, and especially if you're going to still profit off it and still make headlines, and that's how you get your attention, that's how you get your clout, that's how you make your money. You know, she's a useful pawn. It's just unfortunate.
It's sad.
She never really had a chance.
Fox News has something to say on the topic. Let's hear what they have to say.
Because here's the thing, this is not what kidnapping looks like. Kafir Beavis knows what kidnapping is like. He was an 8-month-old baby. Yarden Beavis knows what kidnapping looks like. He survived. His wife did not, Shiri, as she was clutching those two little redheaded boys. That's what kidnapping looks like, clutching your babies as you go off to a death sentence, not eating a sandwich handed to you by IDF. These individuals are apparently going to be forced to watch IDF footage from the day of October 7th. She needs to see it. Greta, this is not a kidnapping. The hundreds of hostages who were kidnapped understand that. It's time you understand it too.
Preach.
Yeah. So true. All right.
Message. Yeah, it's a pretty
Because here's the
simple
thing,
message.
this is not what
It's
kidnapping looks like.
hypocrisy of what was
Kafir-
labeled as kidnapping. It's like, dude, this is not kidnapping.
It's just all for clout. It's all an attention-seeking game for her.
And this was her in the airport after IDF was sending her on her way.
Well, wait, hold on. In an airport? What about the climate, Greta?
Oh yeah.
What are you doing?
Apparently there were options because this is from Paris to Sweden, where she is a native of. And there were options for taking a train, but I guess she decided to take a plane.
What about your carbon footprint, Greta?
And a fun fact about the carbon footprint. You know how much, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but her carbon footprint was quite big on that diesel sailboat that wasn't sailing with sails. Yeah, you heard me correct. That diesel sailboat that wasn't sailing with sails, they used diesel the entire time on that trip.
Well,
but
I
she
guess
wants to cry about climate, yeah.
The climate grift is done now, I guess.
Yeah, that's not an issue now.
Her carbon footprint's already bigger than mine will ever be.
Oh, exactly. Let's get out of here. I don't want to hear it. But anyway, let's look at her going through the airport, being escorted. Oh, it's funny because he did it.
I brought this up before we were on here. Bill and Omar and AOC did the same thing for the protest. They protested handcuffs because it might get another viral clip. You know, I kind of feel bad for her. Like in a lot, it's like your whole life is so scrambled at how can I get more attention? Everything you do, it's like it's got to be such a weird way to live.
She has made her way back to Sweden after that flight. Many people posted videos about her on the plane. There was no point in really playing those videos. It was just her sitting in a seat on a plane.
That's
But
that's fine, obviously. And a lot of people are now hailing her as a hero, and it's like she didn't accomplish anything. You know, it's like you and you know you're kind of trivializing this cause. I think.
Yeah.
Not to say
you're taking away attention to the cause by people talking about you and your silliness and your silly acts. But anyway, speaking of which, let's see what Donald Trump has to say about Greta Thunberg and her.
President, do you have a message for Greta Thunberg, and did she come up on your call with the Prime Minister today?
Well, she's a strange person. She's a young, angry person. I don't know if it's real anger. It's hard to believe, actually, but I saw what happened. She's certainly different. Anger management. I think she has to go to an anger management class.
President, go ahead. Do you have a message for Greta Thunberg, and did she come up on your...
President, she needs a couple classes.
She needs like a deprogramming class. Like I said, I do feel bad for Greta. I think you know, her whole life has been manipulated. When you're 12 years old and like, what has she done?
You're
She's
set
like,
up for failure, basically.
I won't go to school until climate change is solved.
Yeah, you're set up for failure at that point, especially if that's going to be your message.
Yeah, she's just been politically, you know, she's used as a tool and whatnot, and it's like, you know, and that's all she knows.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, thank you. We are moving on to the next topic, but before that, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that wonderful. Let me know what you think about her humanitarian mission and what you think about Greta.
Comment down below if you
Always
think her carbon footprint is bigger than yours. I guarantee you. Her carbon footprint is bigger than anyone else who's going to watch this. I guarantee it.
All right, on to our next topic. I am sad to report that a YouTuber, Finny Da Legend, was gunned down in front of the Bellagio by a fellow YouTuber, City Manny, because he received 2 strikes on his channel and feared to get a third, which would make him demonetized. Both YouTubers were engaged in striking each other's channels, which ended in gunfire. Sorry about that. This is a sensitive video. Not this video specifically, but the next one. Either way, it is a sensitive topic, so please be cautious.
This is just a pretty alarming topic, and obviously we're on YouTube as well. And I would say, I mean, probably just good practices. Don't strike other people's videos. I know a lot of bigger creators still do it. But, like, you know, it's like people can go crazy with it. You're going to take away their livelihood if this is, like, their whole thing.
And that's basically what it is. Not condoning what he did, but I guess he felt his livelihood was being taken, and he did what he did.
Yeah, it's just not good for anybody to get into this whole copyright striking thing.
Either way,
Well,
here's some context about the situation. Are you good? You want to say something? I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say that's the one thing we've talked about Hassan Piker before, and the one thing I think I agree with Hassan Piker on is he's not really for striking people's channels. So I'm like, well, that's you know, in a sea
really
of shit, that's a one commendable thing you have, Hassan.
All right.
All
Let's
right,
get some context.
let's get this clear though, y'all, because we all laugh and joke. This is a PR. This is a PR moment. We all laugh and joke, but mental illness is real, and we can clearly see this guy is mentally ill. So one thing about it, that's why I want to put it on y'all too. If he give us another strike and I got 3, y'all know that channel mean everything to him. He don't got no outside friends, nothing. I don't think I could do it in my heart. And I'm saying this on live so he can hear it too. Shout out LDT. But I don't think I can take his channel from him, man, because I think he's so close to going in the closet, man. And he's so close, man.
Fuck that. You know what the first thing I asked you, did you give him a strike? Fuck that. Nigga. You swing at me, we swinging back twice. Boot him to the motherfucking moon.
Oh, so let me tell you this.
All right, so that's your context. They were talking about different strikes that have happened and him possibly being demonetized.
They're talking about Sin City Manny right there, and obviously that was a Finny Da Legend.
That's the alleged / person in the videos committing this illegal act. So the next video, this is the one that is very sensitive, and please shy away. Don't look at it if you do not want to see some alarming footage. You do not.
Graphic content advisory.
Yeah. Julie, the wife of Sin City Manny, the gentleman who decided to unalive people, was filmed at the exact moment Finny Da Legend was ended. Here is both video clips synced up. What do you notice? Now, I've seen these videos. Please make sure you listen to what you can hear being spoken at the beginning, specifically. Sounds like a female voice to me. I'll let you decide what you think you hear. Now, this video, the top will be the video of Finn Da Legend streaming, and then the bottom video is supposedly the stream of Sin City Manny, his wife, streaming for Sin City Manny.
Thanks, going up.
Two individuals are no longer with us. That would be Finn Da Legend and his wife.
Which is absolutely crazy over some YouTube videos.
Absolutely. It got to this extent is really sad. We don't need to really delve into the specifics of the video, but at the beginning, I believe there was a female's voice. I couldn't quite make it out myself, but I believe it was along the lines of, they're right over there. You take that however you want to take that. I believe that was Sin City Manny's wife saying something. According to the videos, it looks like Sin City Manny's wife was walking one direction, and then Sin City Manny was walking the other direction, and they met in the middle with Finn Da Legend and his wife. Again, it's sad. We don't really need to go into it too much more than what we already did. But
well, I'm gonna go. I want to go into it a little more because
I meant the video specifically.
Oh, okay. Well, I deal with a lot more slop than Duke does. I'm in the slop all the time. I don't think there's anything wrong with calling out people, criticizing people. There's a lot of YouTubers, they deserve to be criticized. And I mean, hey, if you want to criticize us, you can too. We're not, we don't exceed that. We're not an exception to it. Obviously, everyone's open to criticism. You're going to put yourself on a public platform. Yeah, you're fair game then. I mean, you can be targeted. I would, obviously I draw the line at like doxing people, obviously killing people, or, going after them, sending them harassing messages.
Yeah, unaliving.
If it's an online beef, I would say really keep it online.
Absolutely.
But, this is like, I don't know if this has any precedence, or maybe it does. But I can't recall a case where something like this has happened. Where there's
I can't recall anything.
There's two creators that have been beefing, but I did mention you before the thing, the whole Ethan Klein, iDubbbz Hassan Piker thing, where Ethan was sent skulls to his house. And I'm like, hey, listen, man, Ethan Klein, he's a guy you could definitely criticize for a lot of things. But but if you're going to tell me that sending skulls to the man's house is not a threat, I don't believe you, man. I mean, that's crazy. I guess
for
they bought him
what
off
other reason
Skulls.
would you do it? Yeah.
Well, they bought him off Skulls.com, but even that, it costs like $2,000 to buy a skull, and that's a whole shady practice too. That, like, you can actually buy a real human skull, but I don't know how they get those. But like, this is crazy. Like, if you're gonna beef with somebody, you gotta, keep it online.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be going after people like this. What got solved here?
And apparently, City Manny was for a couple days prior searching for Finny Da Legend to do whatever he did to do. I'm assuming what he did in this video.
The guy
so this was obviously his plan. He had all intentions to do this from the beginning.
The guy wasn't right in the head, or this guy really got under his skin, which I can understand. I mean, I've beef with people online too. Sometimes that can affect you, but it's like you just gotta sometimes just walk away from it for a little bit and just be like, it's just
don't bring yourself down to this level. Yeah.
Well, what's going to happen now? It's that now he's going to obviously
he's going to be in
his
jail
life
for the
is
rest of his
ruined. He took away two people's lives, and his life is also gone.
And I'll be honest, his wife honestly should probably get accomplice charges as well if she was privy to this information. If she knew what Manny was going to do, she absolutely should. She was live streaming the whole thing.
Well,
she was walking down the street the whole thing.
And you know what the tragic irony of this is that now that this has happened, his YouTube channel that he was so worried about, I guess, from what
I'm sure it's demonetized now.
No, I'm sure it's taken down now.
Yeah, I'm
so
sure
now you don't have
down.
a YouTube channel anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, you were so
yeah.
worried about
I don't know
YouTube
what he
channel
was
going
trying
down.
to achieve with this. Yeah, I really don't.
I don't know. I don't know how bad this guy was messing with them, or
maybe
exactly
he really
what went
had
on,
mental issues. Who knows? But yeah, it's sad this ended up in the loss of 2 lives.
Definitely.
Anyway, again, make sure you like and share about this topic. Let us know, how would you react? Would you have done the same thing? I hope not. I hope we are capable of having civil conversations with each other, whether we agree or not, and not harm each other.
That's way too dark. I was gonna make a really dark joke. No, I know how I would have reacted. I can't say how I would have reacted. No.
Well, we'll talk about it off screen.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on to that next topic. On a lighter topic, one of our final topic for the segment for today. Apparently, this is becoming official. I'll read this out. Trump for. You want to read it out? Can you see? Because you do the best Trump voice.
I gotta really squint in. All right,
you do the best Trump voice.
All right. Let me.
This part right here.
Really closely. Yeah. All right. Trump says, for every U.S. citizen born after December 31st of 2024 or before January 1st of 2029, that's my second term, folks. There it is. You know it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good. You're gonna love it.
Best term
the federal
ever.
Government, the federal government will make a one-time contribution, yes, only one time, of $1,000 into a tax-deferred account that will track the overall stock market. These accounts will be private property controlled by the child's guardians, but it's gonna be great. It's gonna be big. Ah, yes, vote Trump 2028.
Yeah, you heard it, folks, right from Donald Trump. Well, let's hear it from him again.
Here's how the accounts work. For every U.S. citizen born after December 31st, 2024, before January 1st, 2029, the federal government will make a one-time contribution of $1,000 into a tax-deferred account that will track the overall stock market. In other words, it'll be pegged to an index that we'll pick. Right, Michael? We'll pick it. We'll pick a good one. Maybe you should be the index.
The president thought of this. I thought of it. I did it.
Greatest idea any president's ever had.
This is a big one. This is huge.
I'd like to have that. These kids would be very wealthy if that were the case. That would be a good idea. I think we might do that, Michael Dell.
I love Trump.
These accounts will be private property controlled by the child's guardians, and in many cases, those guardians will be the parents. We think probably the parents will be the guardians. They'll be open for additional private contributions each year from family, friends, parents, employers, churches, private foundations, and more. This is a pro-family initiative that will help millions of Americans harness the strength of our economy to lift up the next generation, and they'll really be getting a big jump on life, especially if we get a little bit lucky with some of the numbers and the economies into the future. In addition to the substantial financial benefits of investing early in life, extensive research shows that children with savings accounts are more likely to graduate high school and college, buy a home, start a business, and are less likely to be incarcerated. Trump accounts will contribute to the lifelong success of millions of newborn babies. They are fully, and this will be very interesting, I think, for everybody to hear, they are fully funded through targeted reforms in the One Big Beautiful Bill, like the $1.7 trillion in mandatory savings, welfare reforms to stop waste and fraud, a 3.5% remittance tax, and more.
All right, so there's his proposal. It's an interesting proposal. I think it's an okay idea.
The first words are going to be Trump. It's going to happen. They're all going to be saying Trump. I'll get voters forever. There we go. Trump 2036. It's happening, folks.
I'll tell you what. I wish I had a $1,000 savings account when I was born, but
well, I think this goes. I think it goes along with Trump's incentive that he wants more. I mean, because we are facing a population decline if the current birth rate keeps up. So I think this is all an incentivization for people to have more children, and Trump's trying to encourage people to do that. Where the Democrats are saying, "Oh, we got to import people to do that." No, we just have to encourage Americans to want to have more children. And I've said this before. I think I've said it on here, but I'll say it again. There's never a great time to have a kid. It's always going to be financially a little bit difficult. You're never going to be completely set up. I mean, maybe some people are, but most people, they won't be. So, you got to take the plunge. I mean, I don't know. Duke, you're a father. Duke, you have 2 kids. I have a child myself. I think it's, it's frustrating at times, definitely. But I think it's one of the greatest blessings you can have. It's a beautiful thing, really.
And like Donald Trump said, it really has to do with how the economy of America goes. If the economy of America is wonderful, guess what? That account is going to be wonderful too. The money will go up. According to Grok, apparently if you made a $1,000 investment in 2007, right now in 2025, it would be worth $5,340. That's without any further contributions or anything like that. As Trump stated, people are able to contribute to every single one of those accounts. Can be contributed by anyone. Churches, organizations, fathers, family, friends, all that. So it's a good idea. It's to set up some stability and some future prospects for all U.S. civilization. Yeah. I really don't see any negatives. And the money the only thing I was worried about was, like, okay, where's the money coming from? That's always, anytime anybody has an idea, okay, cool, where's the money coming from? So now that I watched the video, he's saying the money's coming from the fat that they're trimming off, that they're saving from other wasted expenses and whatnot. So,
I don't mind. You're investing in the future.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. Obviously none of my kids or myself fit in that criteria for any of these. What do you want to call it? Federal. What is it called? Tax deferred account, I guess.
Yep. Well, you could always have another one.
But yeah. Either way, I could always open up my own accounts and whatnot. But regardless, it's a good way of doing it. Just like other businesses do 401ks, for your prospective future. He's trying to help out prospective future for any child that is born during his second term. So,
And I think he's trying to incentivize people to have more kids.
Honestly, I think that is probably the more the more
whether it's going to
logical
happen
reason.
or not. I don't know, because it's like
we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
yeah, we'll have
we
to
gotta.
wait and see.
Yeah, we are on. We gotta somehow incentivize people to have more kids, because we are in a population decline right now.
But anyway, that topic was a light one, but I wanted to end with somewhat of a light, wholehearted topic compared to what we've been talking about for the last hour and a half. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to like and share and subscribe. Comment and let us know what you think about the plan.
They're gonna put his brain in a robot. We'll have robot Trump forever. It'll be great.
Like
Trump
Ronald Reagan
2044.
in Futurama.
Nixon. Yeah, Nixon.
Or what is it? Nixon. Sorry, not Ronald Reagan. Yeah, Nixon.
Aru. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the topics. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and let us know in the comments.
Apologies again for my audio. This is we're gonna be doing the same thing on Friday. It's only a temporary thing.
Yeah, next week
then we'll be back to our. We will be back to our regular schedule. Well, not Monday, but next Wednesday we'll be back to the regular schedule.
Week from today, we'll be back to our regular format.
All right. I think
Thank
we
you for
covered
joining us.
everything, Duke. Thank you.